Hello folks, welcome to a book review of Malazan Book of the Fallen. This is House of Chains, Book 4 by Steven Erikson, and this will be spoiler filled, but I just want to say right off the bat that it's truly incredible when you can read a series and after each book you finish, your desire to already reread the series grows and grows. So this is something truly special. This is a contender for one of my favorites so far. I'd say House of Chains and Memories of Ice is up there, you know. It might just be some sort of recency bias, but man, I really love this book. And of course, Erikson's beautifully poetic prose consists of the perfect metaphors to convey a message that would, more often than not, be somewhat difficult to explain. So, truly a master storyteller, a master of his craft, and that combined with the thematic exploration, I want to say at least like each snippet of storyline, maybe even each chapter, is able to deeply explore a theme that is just philosophical and emotionally stimulating. We get really intimate with some characters. It's a different sort of format from the others. We follow some characters very intimately, some linear plot lines. It's a nice change of pace. It's refreshing. It's the type of storytelling that I prefer more often than not, so I think that was a huge part of me just getting so immersed and invested in this book. He brings a lot of plot threads together. Some of my new favorite characters, some of the most hard-hitting moments in the series so far. Anyways, let's get into spoilers. So we'll start with one of my new favorite characters, Karsa Orlong. You know, I'm sure this is a common opinion, but Karsa Orlong is right up there for me with Anamander Rake. I liked how it started with his storyline, and then, like I said, it went linear. We followed him very intimately. We saw his dynamic with his companions. We saw his relationship with his father. We see how much of a stubborn and prideful youth he is, set in his ways and all the atrocities that he commits. But at the same time, you can't help but wonder where the story is going and what's going to become of him. And he truly goes through some crazy stuff. For me, it was Chapter 17. Chapter 17, where Karsa is conversing with his people's Teblor gods. They were Tlanomas, right? The Tlanomas gods. And how he's in this cave forging this indestructible sword, and the gods are explaining to him that, you know, they're following this new character in play who I'm pretty sure is the crippled god. I think it was mentioned it was the crippled god, and how he worships imperfection. And there's this huge theme of balance all throughout this book, actually, but balance and existence is something that's talked about a lot in this chapter. And Karsa sort of rebukes his gods. He says, you know, instead of taking on the burdens of the people as gods should and helping them, essentially you're enslaving them to a new set of chains. And so throughout that, there was one quote that Karsa stated on parenthood and on, you know, the love that a parent can show the child. I just wanted to read that quote real quick. It was in response to the god Sybil, who was the taker of children, how she, you know, essentially took the children from the Teblors for her own little, you know, army or whatever it was. But the statement from Karsa was, "The regret remains with the mothers and fathers who surrendered them, the children. No matter how brief a child's life, the love of the parents is a power that should not be denied. And know this, it is immune to imperfection." This was a bit of a profound statement for me because I found myself in a bit of an odd situation where I couldn't fully agree with it. You know, it's a delicate thing, I guess, to discuss. On the one hand, sure, it's true. On the other hand, there's a little more nuance that goes into that, I would say. Although, even though I couldn't bring myself to fully agree with that statement, I found that there was this sort of profound catharsis that I experienced that sort of superseded my disagreement. So it touched me pretty deeply. Just a great sort of growth as a character. This is the kind of stuff I love. I love watching characters grow. I love seeing it handled in a way that it just sticks with you. Every little nuance, every aspect of it sticks with you. And this is the type of character work that I love. So, you know, witnessing him just forging the sword in this cave and then going off to find his jag horse, just becoming such a badass warrior with this newfound knowledge, you know. And then, of course, his story goes on. He shows some compassion, another huge theme throughout the series, to Sybil chucking her head into the sea. You know, it's always great to see a character sort of redeem himself and allow these ideas of glory and anything vain like that to sort of crumble, and in its place comes this value on friendship and compassion. Very much looking forward to seeing how Karsa continues to grow, if he does, and what other challenges he faces, where his story goes. I'm rooting for him. All I can say is I'm rooting for Karsa. Also, if I'm not mistaken, a little tie-in from, was it Deadhouse Gates? Where the Azith house that Ikariam's father resided in, that was the one that's underneath the Jag-Odan tree, if I'm not mistaken. That tree that Karsa goes to and sees the figure there, and where he gets his horse. We were talking about how underneath them is something ancient, or I can't even remember. But all I know is I'm pretty sure that's where the Azith house is located. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was just a cool little tie-in. I'm not sure how relevant that'll be in the future, but hopefully it is. We'll see. Now, it has been quite a little while since I've read this, so I'll just briefly touch on the Tist Leosan, this new sort of sub-race. Is it a sub-race? But this other Tist race, aside from the Idur and the Tistandi. I liked their arrival. I liked seeing their history, the sort of lore that ties into the Tisliosan and all the other sort of races. I feel like we're slowly getting more and more context to the world at large, to the history of these races. It's nice. It is so freaking expansive. Like, you know, you get fed some knowledge here and there, and it's still like the tip of the iceberg. So I'm hoping we get more stuff like that. I'm hoping we get more stuff that ties into everything else and sort of provides an explanation for a lot of other things, a lot of other questions that we have currently. Iskar Pust was here, and so was his wife. And man, you know, as soon as he was on the page, as soon as his dialogue started, I didn't even need to know who was talking. I already knew it was Pust just from his dialogue. As soon as he started talking, I'm like, this is Iskar Pust, and he's hilarious. And just another example of what a genius storyteller Erikson is, how he's able to give all these characters their own voice. So that was fun. That was provided some humor where it was needed. That we also got Mappo and Ikariam, and we got the other two, Trell Sangar, and the other guy. But that was a cool sort of friendship that was formed there, very reminiscent of Mappo and Ikariam from Deadhouse Gates. So, was it Deadhouse Gates? Yeah, Deadhouse Gates. So I liked seeing that. I always like a good relationship, strong relationship, whether it's being formed, whether it's been strong for a long time. That was really cool, and to see when Karsa Orlong came by and he got into his little fight with Ikariam, you know, you see the scope of how powerful these entities are and how important they could be in the future or how much of a force at least they're going to be. It was really cool to see that fight. I love a good badass fight. A lot of stuff I'm blanking on. It's been so long. This is why it's good to take notes, and I don't take a lot of notes. I just write down the stuff that really appeals to me, that is more memorable for me. So there's a lot of stuff I'm missing out. We'll cover it all in the chat, I promise, or at least most of it. Let's get back to some stuff I do remember. Callum and Quick Ben. So Callum was a badass in this one. He went through a lot. Seeing his encounter with that freaking, what is it, a demon, whatever it was, and then his fight afterwards, and then meeting up with Quick Ben, that was very nice. You know, Quick Ben is, we only got a little snippet of Quick Ben, but he's still up there for me in terms of one of the most badass entities in this whole world. You know, I'm sure he's going to have a much bigger role to play. I'm sure we're going to see some absolutely insane stuff from Quick Ben, and I can't wait for that. Another reason why I just want to jump into the next book. Next, let's talk about the bridge burners. So we followed Fiddler fairly closely in this, Callum, some other bridge burners, but it's very interesting to learn more about their history and more about how, as they get closer to Raraku, they're just sort of hearing this song, and we got to look at how they are able to, they would be able to ascend through death. I feel as though we got a lot about the bridge burners here, but there's still some key elements missing to kind of piece everything together. But the bridge burners are obviously have a very, very deep history, not just with, I guess, with each other, but the desert, Raraku, that place, I guess that's where, is that where they formed? I can't remember. And then, of course, we follow Crocus and Apsalar. Very interesting stuff going on with them. I like that there's some shakiness happening with their relationship. I like seeing that. And, it was very, I don't know, we didn't get a lot out of their relationship in the previous books, but here things seem to be getting a little more interesting, so that's nice. And finally, I want to come to Felison and Tavor. So with Felison's group, it was very interesting. It seemed as though things were just falling apart for her. All the members of her group were kind of scheming their own schemes, and at the end they all, most of them got taken out. And then Tavor, you see the kind of person she is, how she's very set on gaining knowledge and tactics of, leading an army or whatnot, that kind of stuff. But she also still has, from the beginning, she's had this love for her sister and wanted to keep her safe. And it's just so interesting how on Felison's side, it's the complete opposite, and she just wonders why Tavor has forsaken her. And that ending, man, where Tavor slays her sister, Felison, she becomes a child again. The spirit leaves her, and she's the young girl that she was before, and all she's thinking is how much she looked up to her sister and she loved her, and why on earth would she do this to her right before she passes is one of the most tragic things I have read in this series. I thought she wouldn't, this was unexpected. I'm sure no one expected this to happen, but after seeing all the stuff that she endured in Deadhouse Gates, I did not expect it to end like this. This was very sad. And Tavor still has no idea, so I wonder when that realization will come. Who will be the one to explain it to her? And what's she gonna do? But this was just such a hard-hitting book, House of Chains. I don't see it discussed a lot. I don't hear it mentioned a lot when people talk about each separate book of Malazan, but House of Chains is amazing. It's an amazing book. One of my favorites, if not my favorite so far. I'm sure there's a lot that I missed. Let me know down below, and then I'll make sure to mention it in the live chat that we have. I'll let you know when that's coming up, but that is it for this review. This book, one of my highest rated Malazan books so far. I gave it 4.5 on Goodreads. But yeah, Malazan is just a series that really stands on its own. I can't liken it to anything else. I can't put it in a category with anything else. It's just, it's on its own pedestal. That's all I'm saying. Love the book. Looking forward to continuing. Thank you for watching this review. If you liked it, give it a like. I will continue with the series. I'll be reviewing all the Malazan books. Still struggling on whether or not I should include the Esselmond books on this read through or on a reread. I'd like to get to them now. Like, after Midnight Tides, I would want to jump into Night of Knives. I believe that's the order. So there's that. There's Return of the Crimson Guard. Ever since book 1, where we get the Crimson Guard introduced, I've been dying to learn more about them. So would it be a really bad idea to throw in some Esselmond books on this first read-through of Malazan? Let me know in the comments. I'm open really to either way, so I just can't get enough Malazan, you know? As dense as it is, as much time as it takes, I want to devour more and more. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you next time.